Here we are today in Rhinebeck, and I have the pleasure of being with Woody Dierze. Dierze? My bad, I'm sorry, man.
No problem, everybody does it.
Okay, Woody, when did you join the fire department?
The early 60s,
Okay, so
61,
so
to
you're
be
like,
sure.
say you're like 60 years with Rhinebeck. That's pretty impressive. So Woody, why did you join back then?
You know, in hindsight, I really don't know. I was asked to join. I thought it was the right thing to do. I lived here in the village, and I joined. A couple friends that I know invited me in, and was hooked ever since.
What was your most unique experience as a member?
Good question. I'm at a loss to tell you what that is, because there were so many experiences.
I hear you. Can you pick out one?
I'd like to think about that for a bit, because
Okay.
I'm not sure what it would be.
We'll come back to that. What was the biggest fire you ever fought in Rhinebeck, or on a mutual aid call?
Well, we spent several calls in Red Hook. We did the hotel, we did the lumber yard in Red Hook. Those were two of the major ones. And then there was a coal storage plant in Red Hook, another large structure that was destroyed by fire.
What was the most serious incident you ever participated in?
Probably going into a call in Red Hook, believe it or not. I'm using Red Hook, but I'm not picking on them. A couple of us were inside when the floor above us collapsed on top of us. Not on top of us, but all around us, and we bailed. That's probably the closest I've come to being significantly concerned.
Wow, that's amazing. What is the biggest difference you have seen in the fire department from when you first joined until today? So just think back, 1961, what was it like and how it is today?
Here in Rhinebeck, we had 3 pieces of equipment in the old firehouse. Now they have a new firehouse with 8 bays, and almost every bay is filled with equipment. We had one Class A pumper, which was a 750 Orin, 750 gallon per minute pump. We had a tanker that had a 120 gallon a minute tank pump on it, and we had a ladder truck, which was just ground ladders, an old late 20s, early 30s. It wasn't Seagraves. I can't remember what it was, but it was ladder trucks, and that had a 500 gallon pump on it. That was it, and that was a rotary gear pump. That's how old it was.
What difference have you seen in the equipment during your membership?
Oh my heavens. We've gone from riding on the back step to sitting in cabs with seat belts. Scott packs, everybody had Scott packs. When I first joined, nobody had their own gear. The gear was on trucks, on the apparatus. So you jumped on the back of the truck, you probably didn't put the gear on until you got to the scene, or maybe while you were going to the scene. And then now everybody has their own equipment. It's helmets, coats, boots, gloves, and all the personal protection gear.
So what was it like to ride on the back of a truck?
Interesting, here in Rhinebeck, the tanker was the first piece out. And it had a step on it that was about maybe 6 to 8 inches wide. So you stepped on the back step and you hung onto that grab bar with your life. Okay? And then we got big time. We didn't extend the step. The reason the step was so small is it's the only way it would fit in the firehouse, because they were stacked one piece behind the other. And what happens was we got big time. We got straps that were hooked on the grab bar and with a seat belt, and you put them around you. And until we moved out of there, that's the way we operated. We finally put them on the other apparatus, the Orin, that had a reasonably good sized rear step on it. You could even ride up in a hose bed because it was fairly low. It didn't have a big tank on it.
Wow. Did anyone ever fall off the back? Did you ever hear of anyone falling off when the truck was going?
Not to my knowledge.
That's a good thing, right?
I hope so.
Okay, what difference have you seen in apparatus during your membership? So remember back in 1961, what did you have in 61?
We had all manual transmission, all gasoline powered. When we moved into this firehouse in the 70s, we got an engine with an automatic transmission. We were one of the first of few. Arlington, I think, had the first automatic transmissions in Dutchess County in fire apparatus. And that was a godsend.
I bet. Now, did you ever hold any ranks firematically in the department?
I've held all ranks in the department, from 2nd lieutenant to chief of department.
Wow, that was amazing. And how many times were you chief here?
I was chief for 2 years, and I was chief for 2 years. We only have a 3-year limit at the time, and I got an opportunity to go with the Dutchess County Bureau of Fire investigation staff as a deputy coordinator in would have been my last year as chief, and I chose to go with the county because I couldn't do both at the same time.
I bet. Did you hold any administrative ranks in the department?
No.
Okay. Are you talking about Dutchess County Bureau of Fire? When did you start with them?
1981 or 2.
And what did you do for them?
I worked as a deputy coordinator, Fire Investigations Division.
And what did that entail to do?
We were supplying a service to the county fire departments investigating fires, because they felt it takes a special training and special knowledge to work fires like that, to look at fires like that. So we became another piece of help to the departments in the county.
Did you have to go like to Montauk Falls for training or anything like that?
Oh yeah. Every year we went, and then I went for the 80-hour course that they had for investigators.
And how many years did you do that for?
Almost 20. And then I went into the private sector as a consultant.
Very interesting, very interesting. Did you ever hold any firematic county offices, like with the Dutchess County Volunteer Firemen's Association?
No.
Or the Hudson Valley Volunteer
No,
Firemen's?
I never got too much involved in those.
And as far as with parades, did you ever go to parades?
Oh yeah, loved them.
Parades were well, huh?
Miss them. Miss them, but don't miss them. Getting old.
I hear you. All right. Anything else you'd like to add in your firematic experience here in Rhinebeck?
No, it's just been wonderful. You know, when I started to get involved in it, I got more involved and more involved. I became a state fire instructor as well.
Oh, what was that like?
That was fun. I had a great time. I did that for about 10 years.
Tell me what you did as a state fire instructor.
I worked, actually, it's just for the state, and,
OFPC?
yeah, private prevention and control.
Yeah.
And was given a set of standards by the state, and then I went according to who allocated out the classes. I would teach courses throughout Dutchess County.
Mm-hmm. And what classes did you basically teach?
Every one of them, at the time, every one of them except ladder company operations.
Okay. Did you do essentials?
Yes. Over and over and over. And it's funny and pump operations and single company operations, and I've forgotten what else was out there, but that's what I did.
And back in those days, were the classes pretty much full back then?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And what was the max you could take in a class back then?
I don't know if there was a maximum, but I think 30 was probably a magic number.
Wow, that's incredible. And did you have a partner that would teach it with you?
No.
So it's by
Did it
yourself?
by myself, yeah. That's the way it was operated at that time.
Did you do anything else in the fire service besides investigating and teaching?
Well, I worked for IBM, and I worked third shift for 9 years. And I was in Poughkeepsie, and I was the fire chief of the Poughkeepsie IBM Fire Department on third shift for
Yep.
that period of time.
And what hours is third shift?
Midnight to 8:30 in the morning.
Oh, you were a night owl. Ooh,
Yep.
that's incredible in itself, right? So do you have any children?
Yes.
Any of them in the fire service?
None. Zero. I have 3 girls and a boy.
Mm-hmm. How about your dad? Was he involved in the fire service?
No.
So you're the one and only in your family.
I'm the only one. Yeah.
Don't feel bad. I'm the only one too.
My wife's family goes way back in the fire service, both in the city of Kingston, the city of Poughkeepsie, Hyde Park. My one brother-in-law is retired out of, let's see, where is he? He's out in Wyoming.
Wow. And what was their last name?
Martin.
Okay. And they go back 1800s, you think?
No, I don't think you go back that far.
Early 1900s?
Probably mid-1900s.
Amazing. That is fabulous. And you're also with the Firefighting Museum now, right?
Yes, I am. I'm on the board of directors, and I'm looking forward to getting that museum in place.
Wait, how do you feel about the Firefighting Museum?
Oh, I think it's the greatest thing in the world, because as those guys die off, history is lost. And I think that's one of the romances of the fire service, is the history that we've had through the years.
All right. Okay, Woody. I thank you for your time, and I'll see you soon.